Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Elson. Here's a look at what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from around the country. The U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops is launching a national 9 Days for Life campaign beginning on January 18th. The campaign calls for Catholics and the faithful to come together for a 9-day digital pilgrimage focusing on cherishing the gift of human life from conception to natural death. The campaign surrounds the annual Day of Prayer for the Legal Protection of Unborn Children, which occurs on the anniversary of Roe v. Wade, the Supreme Court decisions that made abortion legal in the United States throughout pregnancy. Each day of the campaign highlights a different intention related to respect for human life, such as end-of-life care, human trafficking, healing after abortion, the death penalty, and more. Those participating are asked to pray and act, uniting around each day's specific intention. You can subscribe to receive daily messages and receive additional information at the website 9daysforlife.com. In news from the Vatican, the Congregation for Institutes of Consecrated Life and Societies of Apostolic Life appointed a Colombian bishop to be the trustee of a scandal-plagued Catholic movement based in Peru. Rome Reports has more from the Vatican.
With this press release, the Vatican announced it will intervene in the sodalidium of Christian life. The Holy See has designated as Apostolic Commissioner Monsignor Noel Antonio Londoño, Bishop of Jericó, Colombia. Cardinal Joseph William Tobin, Archbishop of Newark, will maintain his role as delegate ad nutum, but will dedicate himself mainly to assessing economic matters. The Pope selected him for this position in May 2016. Monsignor Londoño and Cardinal Tobin will aid the sodalidium in its transition period after the sexual abuse scandal involving founder Luis Fernando Figari. In 2016, the institution strongly denounced and dismissed him.
Después de los testimonios recibidos,
in light of the testimony presented, we find citizen Luis Fernando Figari guilty of the abuses he has been accused of and declare him unwelcome in our organization, which completely deplores and condemns his behavior. In the release, the Vatican reiterated the Pope's concern due to reports involving internal governance, formation, and economic financial affairs. With this new step, the Holy See will facilitate the closing of this painful chapter as soon as possible.
More news from around the country now. The biennial Student Leadership Summit, or SLS, took place in early January at McCormick Place in Chicago, drawing more than 8,000 people from around the country. The summit, which is sponsored by the Fellowship of Catholic University Students, known as FOCUS, featured keynote addresses by Los Angeles Auxiliary Bishop Robert Barron, actor Jim Caviezel, who played the role of Jesus in The Passion of the Christ, and Sister Bethany Madonna, a Sister of Life. Mass was the focal point of each day of the conference, with Chicago Cardinal Blaise Cupich celebrating the conference's closing Mass. Organizers also said priests heard more than 4,000 confessions, and many of the young people attended Eucharistic adoration held in a special area during the entire event. This year, Focus missionaries number 700 and are now on 137 campuses in the U.S. and Europe. The missionaries often serve in Newman centers on campus and accompany students on their faith journeys. More news from the Vatican. A new course is being offered at a pontifical university in Rome that focuses on church management with topics such as finance, economics, and business ethics. The idea of the course is to train lay people to take on these management roles in parishes and dioceses around the world.
In February 2018, the Pontifical University of the Holy Cross will begin a formative course teaching management instruments for the Church, including economics, finance, business ethics, and social teaching. The program of church management will instruct leaders from all over the world at the request of the Vatican and Pope Francis.
It really comes from Pope Francis, and Pope Francis is interested very much in the Church being exemplary around the world in living out the social doctrine of the Church. Recently, Pope Francis himself has blessed our program and told us, "Avanti, così, go ahead just as you're doing."
The professor said many priests now spend the bulk of their time in office duties instead of hearing confessions, saying Mass, or giving spiritual counseling. The idea of this course is to help them delegate certain jobs to lay people who've been educated in these church management roles.
So we've had the challenge from the beginning of this program to have as much of an impact in the Church worldwide as fast as possible. And so we're a startup operation, and we're an academic operation in a university in Rome, where things tend to move slowly, but we're trying to move fast to get these tools into the hands of the Church worldwide.
With professors coming from many countries, they're hoping to have about 40 students participating. They already have students signed up from Tanzania, the Solomon Islands, Australia, and all around Asia and Africa.
It's wonderful to hear the personal stories as we're interviewing the candidates of what they're looking for in this program and of their own experience already in the past, both of mismanagement and of sound management in the church. And it's wonderful to see how the church worldwide is desirous to respond to Pope Francis's call for this reform.
The 2-year program still has a couple spots available before classes begin next year.
And finally in the news, in a recent statement recognizing the federal holiday honoring the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., the president of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, Cardinal Daniel DiNardo, said that the Reverend King's message is that the sin of racism can be defeated by active love and the light of faith. The Cardinal added that we pray in confidence that Jesus Christ will remind us all that he is the most powerful means to break the chains of hate that still bind too many hearts, a truth which lies at the center of Dr. King's legacy. The act making Reverend King's birthday a national holiday was signed into law in 1983 and took effect in 1986. All 50 states observed the holiday for the first time in 2000. The holiday is observed on the third Monday in January, and this year's January 15th observance would have been Reverend King's 89th birthday. Well, that is all the information we have for you this time. I'm Kevin Nelson. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV network.